Hi, this is Jeremy Williams. Thanks again so much for taking part in our workshop on Tuesday with Risk, Innovation, and Failure in the Classroom as part of Adelphi University's Performing Arts Center's Arts Day 2012. It was a really great conversation talking about each of these elements, and I wanted to pull together 5 major takeaways that came out of our conversation together. First, we discovered that risk, innovation, and failure are inherent elements to great performance. We started our session by sharing memories of great performances that we'd recently seen that were very impactful to us. And across all of our memories, there was some wonderful commonality in that each of these elements showed up within those memories of performances that were risky, that were innovative, and had the potential for failure, and how that excited our experience as audience members. It was really great to be reminded that at the core, our work is about excitement, and these each get at different ways of exciting both the artist and the audience involved in the performance. In talking about great performance, we also realized that we have a great expectation for our students to use risk, innovation, and failure within their work. And we also realized that we're not explicitly teaching our students about risk, innovation, and failure. And we talked about the need to define each element in our specific disciplines and give these definitions to our students very early on. And that we can also look to our current material to discover where risk and failure and innovations naturally occur, and we can lead our students into these places to explore and experiment within the classroom and rehearsal and have them work on their own. In our conversation, we discovered that defining risk and innovation and failure is essential for success for our students as well as our artistic work within schools. And in our conversation around each of these individual elements, I had a wonderful time in reviewing this, and there was a great common thread that showed up in the list that we made for each. And this commonality is that each of these elements, risk, innovation, and failure, all get students to be more open, expressive, and available in the moment. But let's take a look at these individual definitions that we came together and agreed upon. So risk, we agreed that was really just the ability to try something new. Innovation, the ability to have a flexible thought process. And failure, the ability to learn from mistakes without judgment. And that these simple definitions, when combined with our existing teaching methods, really will allow our students to be more open and available to explore further and press deeper into their artistic practices. This naturally led us into a conversation about how we can incorporate these into our classroom, and we had a really great agreement that there isn't a right way to teach or even to work with any of these elements of risk, failure, and innovation. There are many, many ways we can include these elements into our classrooms and rehearsals. But a big takeaway from this is that we have to keep each of these elements in our awareness and find moments to incorporate them in our teaching. So the question is not necessarily how we teach this, but when. When do we bring these into the room? And, that's really incumbent on us as teachers to be open to teachable moments where students can apply these elements in the moment to their work. And finally, we did talk about different strategies of how we can bring these elements into the room and teach them really effectively. And across the board, we agreed that modeling is the best possible way that we can do this for our students. It's really unfair for us to expect our students to work with risk and innovation and failure if we're not continually showing them examples of each through our own teaching. And really this is asking us how we're teaching, and this came up over and over again when we were talking about these elements around authority and letting go of authority. And we need to find different ways that we can let go or subvert our authority in the classroom, really for the benefit of our students, by really showing them that it's totally cool and wonderful to take on failure and that we can learn from our mistakes, and that innovation doesn't mean coming up with the best idea, but it's really just about the ability to come up with new ideas. And that being risky can mean a lot of different things. It can show up in a lot of different ways, but essentially it's giving yourself the permission to try something new, and that makes really great performance. Once again, thank you each so much for your contributions to this conversation. It was a really great morning, and I had a great time talking about risk, innovation, and failure in our classrooms.